Welcome to the Game Week 1 FPL Transfer Matrix, the series in which I help you make the best FPL transfers, looking at who's essential, who's in form, who's got the best fixtures, and any game week punts to help you climb those ranks. This is my transfer matrix, also known as FG, Essential, Form, Fixtures, and Game Week Punt. The transfer matrix series will run all year, and we will chop and change the players in this matrix as the season goes, so you know what transfers to make in your FPL teams. Pre-season info can sometimes be as useful as a blind man operating VAR, so regular VAR. So this transfer matrix does contain players we may not see throughout the season, but this will reset when the season starts and the actual games get underway. So for Game Week 1, my essential section looks like this. That's right, it has no players. I want my money back! But that's because there's so many valid picks and team structures right now, no one is yet essential. You could have a Salah and a Haaland team, and then all of your other players are different. You might want a completely well-rounded squad with neither of them. Both of that is valid. So no players are quite essential yet. But what is essential are these three things right here. You need to make sure you have a very good team structure, almost as if it was constructed by Bob the Builder himself. If you've got too much money invested in your bench, if half of your players are crap picks because you tried to squeeze in 5 premiums, don't do that. Stop being a cheeky scrub and make sure your team is balanced, as it will be a lot easier for you in future game weeks and you'll probably end up scoring more points with a more well-rounded squad. I'd also suggest having a rough plan and ideas with your team and all of your players. If your team is lined up in a way that you'll never ever be able to get to a premium mid in the likes of Salah, Saka, Son, etc., or if you're completely set on 5 at the back and you're not going to change it no matter what, you're a madman. Maybe consider some escape routes just in case everything burns to the ground. Have in mind some rough plans and ideas so you can get out of any mess you might end up getting yourself into, and make sure you have a way to get to any other player if they start popping off. I'd also suggest limiting risks in Game Week 1, as Game Week 1 is the time of the most unknowns, and you don't really want to be getting to Game Week 3 with half your squad no longer starting, and you need to splunk that early wildcard to sort out your mess that you probably shouldn't have got yourself into. Don't take those risks. This essential section will start to contain the players that are either scoring extremely well and have the form and fixtures, or they're just so incredibly good value you need them in your team. My form section after the preseason games include these. Now, these aren't normally players we would look at, but that's exactly why I am highlighting them here in the form section. All these players aren't very well known or popular FPL picks, but have been getting some very good minutes and also scoring goals, so could start starting for their teams this season. I wouldn't necessarily have any of them in my FPL team just yet, as pre-season is still pre-season. A goal against Wickham and Wrexham don't really mean anything in the Premier League, but it certainly wouldn't be a terrible idea to have a couple of these in your team if you want some spicy punts. I'm going to personally sit back, sit on my hands and watch them for now, add them to the watch list, but they are definitely players to keep an eye on at the start of the season. The form section will start to fill up with actual good players we love and know, but as the season hasn't started yet, I decided to chuck in the lesser known players in here now because we're not considering these types of players. But I'm not going to chinwag about these specific players here or try and convince you that they're all the new Messi and Ronaldos of the world, because they're just not. This is just pre-season and this is just the form from pre-season. My fixtures section for Game Week 1 looks like this. Now, this section will start to contain specific players when we start the season, but as every player is an option right now at the start of the season, as you know, you could have anybody, I'm just listing the teams for now, as there's multiple players for all of these teams. And I also don't want to make a 30-minute long FPL video like all the other content creators, making you fall asleep when you already know all of this information. So the 4 teams with the best fixtures include Fulham, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. Obviously, other teams also have decent fixtures too that you could argue are better, and teams could obviously still score a few in worse fixtures, but if a team or player does have a good run of fixtures, then we would expect them to start scoring more FPL points very soon, so looking at the fixtures is a good way to jump on those players before anyone else does. And finally, my Game Week punt section for Game Week 1 looks like this. Now, this section will also start to contain players when the season starts, but for now, I've just put teams here, and I've only actually put 2 teams here as well. As again, reiterating the point in the essential, I don't think you should take too many risks right at the start of the season, so the 2 punt punts for the start of the season are two teams we can actually trust in Spurs and Newcastle. Now, you might not consider them punts as they are the safer options, but you might want to target those fixtures with like a Son or even like a Jacob Murphy for Newcastle. But again, this section will start to contain more specific players in the season, and this section will also be more focusing on the differentials we can jump on to help you get an edge to climb up those ranks. And that is that for the Game Week 1 Transfer Matrix FG, Essential, Form, Fixtures and Game Week Punt. The Form section will contain the players that are getting the points now. They are the here and now in FPL. Best jump on them, otherwise you're left stranded. The Fixtures section will contain the players that could be getting more points soon, and they are the soon to be here and now. Jump on them before anybody else does. And the Game Week Punt section will be the spicy differentials who could help you do very well and have a very tasty fixture for that 1 week, where they need to be in everybody's team, including yours. Different players will be entering the transfer matrix every week, and the same player could even move between different sections each week, but all you need to know is the transfer matrix will be here every week to help you make the best FPL transfers possible. So let me know, are you excited about the FPL transfer matrix? Because you no longer need to spend hours and hours thinking about all the players. You could just look at this every week and be like, oh yeah, I haven't got that player, I'll get him in. Oh, that player looks good, yeah, okay. You're welcome. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and also remember,
don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.